Come on and join us. We're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out. It's the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family, with great fellowship too. Crystal and Sean have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there. Come on and join us. We're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock. We want to share in all you do. Come on and join us. Come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts. We want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
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 Come on and join us. We're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out. It's the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family, with great fellowship too. Crystal and Sean have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there. Come on and join us. We're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock. We want to share in all you do. Come on and join us. Come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts. We want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
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 Hello. Yes.
Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
Yes.
What's your attitude? Chattitudes, Chattitudes. What's your attitude?
Hey. Welcome back to Chattitudes. Today we have a special guest in the studio with us. As you see, Miss Hattie Mae is here with us.
Hattie Mae is in the house.
Yes, she is.
Hattie Mae is here.
And we have two special guests also. They're here to give their perspective on cheating. So you'll meet them in a little bit. So again, thank you, as usual, to all our sponsors, our friends and family. Thank you so much for your love and support. Thank you for tuning in. Also, as usual, go ahead and call and text your family and friends and tell them to tune in to YouTube. Go to Boxwave, BOXWAV, search Boxwave, and subscribe. Also, for those who are using their laptop, there's a section on the right side where you can actually do a live chat with us. So go to Voxwave so you can do some live chat because we got some fun things for you today. Also, you can also call in to the hotline. Our telephone number is 240-719-2560. 240-719-2560.
All right.
Yes.
You finished over there, Sean?
I still have some more
Oh,
to
you
go.
got some more. She got some more.
She's
I'm
ready.
coming in a
She's
minute.
ready.
I'm coming
She's
in a
ready.
minute 'cause I want to talk about this topic.
Yes.
I want to talk about this
Cheating
topic.
is a hot topic.
I don't have much time out. I don't have much time. Go ahead.
She didn't escape. She got to get back.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
Also, in terms of Chattitudes, go ahead to our Facebook page, Chattitudes. Follow us on Facebook and also follow us on Instagram at Chattitudes2020. And to learn some more information about Chris and I, you can go to our website to chattitudes.org, chattitudes.org, and you can also go there to watch any of our previous shows.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes, you can. Yes,
And
you can.
before we get started, we got to take care of our sponsors, our paid sponsors.
Yes.
So
Thank
we have
you, sponsors.
Thank you, sponsors.
For letting me come out today. I appreciate you, sponsors.
Yes.
Thank you.
We have two sponsors. Our first is Dr. Alethea Simmons.
Yes.
She's an educator and a minister who's running for the Prince George's County Board of Education District 4. So, yes.
We're supporting her.
Yes, we're supporting her.
And she's going to get me out. We're supporting her. District 4. Alethea Simmons. Dr.
Yes,
Simmons.
Dr. Simmons. Her theme is Time to Connect All Hands on Board.
Yes.
And voting will be on April the 28th. So go and vote for Dr. Alethea Simmons.
Vote.
Yes.
Felons still can't vote. We still can't vote. We still cannot vote.
No.
Vote.
our second sponsor is a Diamond in the Rough event planners who serve the DMV. To book their professional services, contact Denise Montgomery and Tamika Sales on 302-786-9810. You can also follow a Diamond in the Rough on Facebook and Instagram.
They do some good balloons. They do some good balloons.
Yes.
I seen them. They do some good balloons.
Yes.
Yes.
Take it over, Hattie Mae.
Oh, yes. Well, welcome to today's show. My name is Hattie Mae Jenkins Johnson Brown. Well, I had a couple of fathers. I don't know which one. So my mama named me Hattie Mae Jenkins Johnson Brown, and I'm here today. I'm here today to talk about this very, 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 very important topic. I don't want you to have to trade places with me, because I nearly done rot in that jail now. I'm here to tell y'all, because what had happened was when I had walked in the house, my husband was up in there with some other woman. So that landed me in jail. I'm going to talk about this topic. This topic is very, very, very important to me. I'm still trying to get free, but I broke out just for a minute just to come and talk to y'all, because I want y'all to know that this is serious, that all y'all out there that's cheating, stop doing all that cheating. Had it made and said it now. Stop doing all that cheating. This is a serious, serious problem. I'm telling you right now, Sean. I called my people after he cheated. I called my therapist. I called them, and I was asking them for some of those hotlines. You know, like they say, well, Hattie Mae, do you want to commit suicide? And, you know, and I said, well, no. They say, well, what hotline number do you need, Hattie Mae? I said, I need the homicide hotline, because I'm going to commit homicide. Lord. And they said they didn't have that hotline. They didn't have the homicide hotline. They only had the suicide hotline. So all I'm saying, there's not a lot of help out there for y'all, and y'all don't want to go to jail. So I'm here today with the word of the week, Sean. They told me I could do the word of the week this week, and I'm so excited to do the word of the week. You know we always take the word of the week from the Urban Dictionary, because I don't like the Webster's Dictionary. So Urban Dictionary is where we always get the word of the week from. So today's word of the week. Now listen up real close to this word of the week, because this is going to go along with today's show. So, the word of the week from old Hattie Mae Jenkins Johnson Brown. Now tell them that I told you. The word of the week today is nachos. Nachos. Can you say that, Sean? Nachos. Now this is very important, this word of the week, because you know why all this cheating and stuff is going on. Because you, man, you, woman, you, sir, you, ma'am, keep on messing with people that's not yours. And if you stop messing with people that's not yours, then we wouldn't have this cheating show. But because we do, no, this is serious. This is serious. Not yours. Leave them people alone. If you see that they married, leave them alone. You see a ring on their finger, leave them alone. Check their background. You know if they married or not. And all you married folks out here cheating, and all you single people, because this is serious in the single world too. You know what they say, Sean? You know what they say? They say that a 45 to 50% of the women cheats, and 55 to 60% of the men cheat. Now they talk about Christian folk, they talk about regular folk, they talk about all the folks. So what I'm trying to tell you, what am I saying? I'm saying that people cheat more than they faithful. Wow. That's a problem. That's why we having this show today. We're going to talk about the signs of cheating. We're going to talk about how to stop cheating. We're going to talk about why people cheat. Why people cheat. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, because in a minute, I got to go back to where I came from, but they let me come out for just a few minutes. So I'm going to turn it back over to Sean. She's going to give you some, what you going to do, Sean? I'm just going to do a little bit of encouragement before we get to our next fun thing. Okay. So I just want to put a disclaimer out there that everything we say is pretty much our personal opinion based off our personal experience. It's our own personal convictions. So personally, in terms of cheating, I've been on all sides of it. I've been cheated on. Ooh. Yeah. I did some cheating. Ooh. And I did some cheating with. Ooh. So I can't judge anybody. I've been on every aspect. God has forgiven me, and I have forgiven myself. So I'm walking in integrity, praise God. But prayerfully, everything that we say and do today will be a blessing to somebody else that may be, going through this, fighting through this. This is serious. So maybe something that's said will help give somebody clarity, some type of healing, and some resolve. But it's a serious topic. We're going to have some little fun with it, but we're going to hear some testimonies and
hopefully we'll have somebody come in and give us some
Sean, I didn't know
some
you was a
guidance.
cheater.
I did. I cheated.
Who are you, Sean? I don't even know you. I thought I knew you.
See, didn't I say no judgment? Did we say something about no
Okay,
judging?
okay. Well, I'm in jail right now, so I can't judge
No.
nobody. All right, so today, what we gonna do? We
got some songs.
We got some songs, and what we gonna name the songs, and then they name the artist.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we on live with
We
the
are
chat?
on live. We're gonna go on live. They got Hattie Mae on the computer. Lord help us, Lord help us. We got Hattie Mae on the computer. We got some songs that we're going to give out, and what we're going to want you to do is tell us
who is the artist.
Who is the artist? These are songs about cheating, and you remember these songs. You remember some of these songs.
Yes.
The first song is You, Me, and He. We want to see you on the chat line. You, Me, and He. Who sung that song?
I think it was in the 80s.
You, me,
and he. What we gonna do,
I
baby?
can't sing. Okay,
I
all
can't
right.
sing
You, me,
either.
and He. That's the first one. We're looking at the chat. And then the next one is Secret Lovers. Who sung that song?
Who sung that song? Secret Love. Okay.
We're not in harmony, Sean. We're going to look good as a unit right now, Sean. We got to get together, Sean. We got to be, we don't look good as a unit. Now, what's the next one, Sean? The next one is...
Are they answering the question?
I'm looking. The first person got... Charlene got the first one right. She got the first one right.
Go, Charlene.
All right. The next one is OPP. We can't say what that means on the air, but OPP.
We
You
can't.
down with OPP?
Oh.
You down with
We
OPP?
can say that.
You down with OPP? Yeah.
It stands
So,
for other
we got
people's
3.
properties. So who sung OPP?
Oh, Ali said, please stop singing.
Arlene.
We not
really?
in the choir, Sean. We not
You
in
know I'm
choir.
not in the choir just because you can sing like a
That's people from the
songbird.
choir. That's people from
Yeah.
the choir. That's people from the choir. They trying to talk about it. Ain't nobody thinking about them. Ain't nobody thinking about them.
Oh Lord.
Sinidria said Naughty by Nature. Charlene got
Yes.
Cincinnati, and Donna got Atlantic Star.
Yes.
You know what? See me after the show next week, and you might get a gift.
Mike.
You might get a gift, or you may not. Ladies and gentlemen, we have coming up in just a few seconds. We actually have our commercial coming for about 2 minutes, and then right after that, we actually have. Let me see, who do we have? We have our special guest, but we're going to introduce them when we come back. But just stay in tune. We're going to get into our commercial.
And before we do, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that today is National or International Women's Day. So, yay to the women. Happy
All right.
Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day, women. On to the commercial, and we'll be
We'll be
right
right
back.
back. Yay to the women. Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day, women. On to the commercial, and we'll be
We'll be right back. Yay.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Crystal has now joined the studio, and we have two guests with us today. We're very, very excited about our guest today. We're going to get some different perspectives. You know, this show is all about your perspective, and your perspective matters. This is why we have the chat line open. We'll have time if you want to call in today. But today, to my left, I'm very, very proud of this young lady who is sitting next to me. Her name is Diamond Lewis.
Yes.
Diamond is actually my daughter. And we debate all the time over different topics, over different issues, and we definitely have some we definitely have some differences of opinion on this whole cheating subject. She's going to come to you from a millennial perspective, really, and some things that she's actually gone through in her own life in terms of being cheated on, as a matter of fact. Diamond is a senior in college right now. She's graduating in May with a criminal justice degree. She is a criminal justice reform advocate. She is on the dean's list, and she is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Beta Iota chapter on the campus of the University of the District of Columbia. Ask me why I love it, because I'm one too. Hey. So we have Diamond here today, and we are excited. Well, and now, who else do we have here, Sean?
Wow, I don't have an introduction like that. But to my left, we do have Sean Simon. Am I saying it correct?
Yeah,
okay, Sean Simon. And he has his own podcast or YouTube show called Is it Disclaimer? No Disclaimer.
No Disclaimers Podcast.
No Disclaimer Podcast.
Yeah.
So check him out.
Tell us a little bit about your podcast real quick, Sean.
My podcast consists of two, before I say my podcast mates, two family members, not by blood, but, you know, just by like bond. My friend Yada, that I've been friends with for over 15 years, and also my friend Sabre, who's also my barber as well. Mm-hmm. So we just talk about everything, you know, anything that there is to talk about, we talk about, and we're all three different personalities, so it's two women and it's one man, so the dynamic is wonderful. So we talk about everything.
Cool.
So we're very excited about that, and that's why we chose Sean. We were very, very careful not to choose a married couple at all. We didn't want to cause any problems in the home, and so we specifically were looking for single folks in that way. But we want to talk about cheating as a whole, and this goes to single couples, this goes to married couples, and so we particularly wanted to hear from the single standpoint, but understand that this goes for married couples as well.
Absolutely.
Later on in the show, I do want to talk about, because every time we bring this show to you, we want to make sure that we're actually giving you some subject matter expertise advice as well. So we do have someone from a wonderful organization called Beyond Affairs organization, and he's a subject matter expert. His name is Brian Burke. He will join us a little later, not in the studio, but he will be joining us by phone just a little at the end of the segment to talk about how do you heal from that, because there is a possibility to heal if you've been cheated on. Amen. And so we're very excited to have our guests here. We're very excited that Brian is going to call in later just to give us some advice. Who knew that there were cheating support groups in this area? There are cheating support groups in this area if you need help. And so his organization, him and his wife, has started this wonderful network. And so he'll come on and he'll talk about that a little later. But right now we're going to get into, I don't know who to start with, either Diamond or Sean, because I almost want to get right to Sean, but I don't want to, because it's three women against one. I don't want to jump on him and say, why do you cheat? And say it's not the woman's fault.
I'm a gentleman. It's always ladies first, and it's Women's Month.
It is Women's Month. It's Women's Month.
It's my man. It's my man. It's my man.
We like you already. We like you already.
Until I start telling them these stories.
Right.
No judgment zone.
No judgment.
Okay.
This is a no judgment zone. This is a no judgment
Okay.
zone, by the way. This
All right.
is a no judgment zone.
That's
so,
right.
Diamond, I'll start with you. And Diamond and I, we have these conversations all the time. And that now I know that we're in a world of social media right now.
Yes.
How much? Because I said I think social media actually plays a big part right now in cheating. And what would you say? So I'm just going to throw these things out there, and this is how this works. It's not a scripted show. And so tell me, what do you think about that? How does social media?
I very much agree. I think a conversation that we had at one point, I said that you said it makes it easier to cheat when you have social media. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I do believe that it plays a huge part in cheating. Number one, for millennials these days, it brings a sense of normalcy, I feel like, to cheating. It makes monogamy kind of look like you're not cool if you do that. If you're faithful to your person for this amount of years, people are actually commenting on your picture like, oh, girl, he's probably texting this girl and da-da-da. So,
wow.
Yeah, it brings a huge sense of normalcy to the issue. So I do think that it plays a huge role in that, in the mindsets of millennials, in that it kind of enforces the idea that it doesn't really matter if you cheat. Then you have like all of these rappers and famous people who you see from social media who are cheating on their spouses or, you know, girlfriends, significant others, people having babies on people and things like that, and then the female will stay. And that's all over social media right now. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of the rapper DaBaby, but he recently just had a baby on his significant other, and she posted on social media the next day and was like, I don't know why you all are, you know, coming at me like he's still not mine. He's still mine. So that whole thing, yeah.
That's
so that
amazing.
whole thing, like I said, it just brings a whole sense of like, this is okay to do for the guys, and then for the girls, it makes it okay. Like, oh, well, it's okay for me to stay with him after I do this because I've seen this 1,000. I'm talking about 1,000 times. Every post on the internet these days is about somebody cheating, somebody getting cheated on, and essentially the relationship trying to work after that. So, yeah, that's what I'll say about social media. But I don't think it makes it easier to cheat because what I said was, it's so public. So if my boyfriend is liking somebody's pictures and commenting on somebody's pictures, I'm going to know that before he goes to sleep. Because my friends, you don't.
Well, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not investigating hard enough. When your boyfriend is doing something and you have friends, you have mutual friends, you have people screenshot stuff to you like, girl, he didn't put a heart underneath this girl's picture.
But what about the DMs and the what's that, Messenger? Because you can't see that unless you have a password. That's another topic.
See, that's what I'm saying. But
that's when y'all burner pages come in into play.
No, okay. No, I don't know about that.
Y'all got a teamwork of friends like investigating this one guy.
Oh yeah.
But that's a lot of work, though. That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
If you have to do that much work, then you don't need to be with that person.
I agree, but
and then in terms of the women accepting or staying with the men that's cheating and having babies, then that speaks to their self-esteem.
This is true. But
because we have positive examples out there as well. With celebrities staying,
both parties have to be held accountable.
Absolutely.
If women cut men off way faster for less,
and that was
less
one of my questions,
less men would be cheating. But
there you go, because women allow it. Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like on both sides, because I like to talk about it from both, because the percentages that y'all named, that's kind of sad when you say there's more people cheating than being faithful, and those numbers are pretty close. So I just feel like too many people are given chances, and it's hard because I don't want to say every relationship is different, you know. Marriage, I think, I've never been married, but like once you say these vows under God, I feel like it's a little bit different from boyfriend and girlfriend. Now, I'm not saying that you cheating while you're just dating is cool, because you have to practice certain habits. You just don't stop cold turkey going into a marriage. But I feel like, to your question about the social media, me being, I have cheated. I've cheated in several relationships. Social media does definitely make it easy because you have resources. You have different platforms. Back in the day, me and my father were talking about this. My father grew up in an era where there were no cell phones. They didn't even have a landline. You could only talk to women that you went to school with, and then after that, you had to have game. You couldn't, and back then he couldn't talk to white women. He couldn't talk. You had to talk to black women. Now you can talk to a woman that you've never met that lives in Florida. So, and then the thing is, you made a good point. When someone has been experiencing cheating, I'm not liking the woman pictures I'm cheating with. That's not how it goes. So I see what you're saying. So it's like it's different when you're trying to lose weight and it's only one McDonald's. Okay, cool. I'm not going to stop at McDonald's. When you're trying to lose weight and then it's a Checker, it's McDonald's, this and that. You have all these avenues and resources. It's definitely easier because you don't have to court women anymore. And a lot of cheaters cheat with people who are in relationships and they're not getting the attention. So now all you have to do is give a woman attention. She say, okay, I like this dude. And she's running away from something that she's going through.
Do you hear that, women? You heard what he said. He said something key. all you have to do is give women a little attention. And I think that's what is relevant. It kind of goes back almost to a person's childhood in a way when they did not get the attention that they needed from their fathers a lot of times. So now, because I can tell you right now, Diamond would tell you up front, like, I already know that I'm very special. I know, because I tell her that all the time. But sometimes when you miss that from your father, a lot of times, you don't know that. So the first time a man comes and whisper that in your ear, you start believing them. So that's very key. And I want women to hear this, particularly single women, when somebody come up to you and just start whispering those sweet nothings in your ear.
Because it's always good in the beginning. Of course he's nice. Of course he's doing these things. He's trying to get you to that point. No one's trying to court a woman being mean. That's not the way it goes.
Right.
So.
People are tearing up our chat
man.
People are tearing up our chat right now. Dr. O actually agrees with you. Hey, Dr. O, when she says we portray whatever we want on social media, we can cheat, and no one would know. Liking a picture is small compared to what goes on in Messenger and DMs. So Sean made that point. That's very, very true. Reverend Wooten over here, she says, I've been formally cheated on, but I realized the person had no control over their own life and issues, but wanted to control my life and the other life that he also was entangled with. God delivered me. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? So yes, that makes sense. I think Erica had a comment here. Is it cheating if it's just a conversation from someone on the other side of the country because you'll never see? Let's define cheating.
Right. That's
good.
So that's a good question.
Erica.
What's cheating?
What is cheating?
I think cheating
That's
is
pre-cheating.
Right. I think cheating is if you're married or have a significant other and you're communicating with somebody on the side and your spouse doesn't know, then that's cheating. If you have to hide it, that's cheating.
Right.
Agreed.
And I think
Not
it's
the acting
emotional.
itself,
Right.
To
but
me,
emotional cheating.
Cheating is doing anything that gives off the impression that you are single, even though you are not. So if you are flirting with somebody and they think that you're the only person that flirting with, whatever the case may be, and they don't think that you have anybody that you are actually in a relationship with, that's cheating.
Right. So I think so there is an emotional part of cheating. So
Absolutely.
even though you're not physically even having maybe a sexual relationship with them, if you begin to have an emotional relationship with them outside of your significant other, I want to say that's cheating. Does everybody
because
agree?
that's intimate. Holding conversations and spending more
Especially
time.
with women.
Right.
Yes.
Spending more time with that person on the phone or chatting. And that's time that you could be giving to your spouse or significant other. That's cheating. And that is emotional cheating because you're getting probably something from someone that you're not getting from your spouse.
You're walking towards quicksand expecting that to sink. I have women friends, like platonic women friends, but at this time of my life, men are not trying to be your friend. So hold on.
Okay.
You know what angles, because men are master manipulators. Okay, so all this like friend zone, this is where a lot of men thrive, the friend zone, because that's how you secure the intimacy. Like, oh, this guy doesn't want me, and then you start having, liking him, this and that, and then you start thinking, well, maybe I would be with him if I wasn't with my partner. Instead of working, like you said, giving that energy to your partner, you're spreading that energy around. Now you're spreading yourself thin. So one thing you can do is you can multitask, but you can't multi-focus.
Right.
So like as soon as you start,
that's true.
You start building those relationships. That's what it is. Because now it's like I'll start talking to you and we have a innocent, relationship. But how do I explain to my girlfriend like who you are, how I met you, and how did we even get to this point? So that's difficult to explain.
So I have a question actually for all of us. I'll answer last. So, and I've heard this question been asked in different platforms. So if you had a best friend or a close family member and they knew or saw your husband or significant other with someone else, but they have proof that they are cheating, would you want that friend to come and tell you? Would you want to know?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We've already talked about this. Me and my best friend, Sinitra, she's watching. Okay. We've already talked about it. You see my person doing something, come tell me. But I do understand. But I will preface this by saying this. Not everybody is ready for that.
That's true.
Not everyone can receive that. So I think it really depends on the person, and you have to know your person in order for you to, because a lot of times you will go and tell your friend, and your friend will stop being friends with you. So it really depends. So it's very important to know your friend and your friend level and to understand that. So it depends really on the person. But for me personally, absolutely, tell me. I want to know.
Sean?
I'm not telling my friends, and only because certain experiences, like every guy, because I know it's the premise that just men are cheating. Most of the women that I've cheated with were cheating because I was taught. This is crazy. I was taught how to cheat. So you cheat with people who don't have anything to lose. So a lot of guys that I've told that their women were cheating, they stayed. It's not. Women aren't the only ones staying. I've never had a friend that, when their girl cheated, they left the first time.
Wow.
So I'm not telling them because I feel like there are a lot of relationships that have got past cheating. So why am I just throwing that much? You might already know. So why am I throwing that? That's not my place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because then I'm also creating a problem, because eventually, my father taught me this: the more you get away with something, the closer you are to getting caught.
Wow.
So it's eventually it's going to come out. I'm just not.
What
I'm not going to be.
doing
I'm not going to be
about
that
it?
added variable into that situation.
Diamond.
And maybe this comes from my age, me being so young and just being like, oh, you better tell me. I absolutely am just like, my best friend, like, I can't even fathom her seeing my boyfriend out with somebody else and not, and you have a picture on your phone and you did not say, we are no longer friends at all. Like, we are no longer friends.
Deidre said, I would take a picture in his face.
Right, you gotta have
face.
right, or
In
picture
his
somebody
face.
kissing or something like
Which I
that.
have
It depends.
done, and I'm sending it, and that's going. And I mean, if you choose to be mad at me for that, then that speaks volumes on, I guess, our friendship and what we had in the first place. But don't tell me.
See, it's different because women are so powerful. I tell my friend that his girlfriend is cheating. She going to come home, oh, Sean's lying, this and that, and she going
There you go. Right.
because she can do stuff for you that I can't do.
There
So
you
your
go.
mind is going to be
That's
clouded,
true.
this and that,
That
and then
is
she was
true.
and you
That
going to be
is
thinking
true.
like, because I had a friend, like I told him, I was like, why would. What am I benefiting from telling you that your girl, cheated?
That's true.
Yeah.
It can be complicated.
Loyalty.
And so my answer is 50-50. It depends on who the person is, who the person is telling me, and then it depends on who my significant other is in terms of what I don't know. I'm just, as a Christian, I believe God gives us discernment. We'll be able to know something is off anyway. And me, what I tell somebody, would I tell my best friend? Probably not. Unless they actually because I feel like then I'm creating getting into the middle of somebody, especially if it's a marriage. Now, wait a minute. If my best friend was engaged, then absolutely. Because I want to make sure.
You putting the brakes on it before it even gets to that point
Right.
because it's harder. Okay,
Exactly.
gotcha.
Now, if she's engaged, then I'm going to say something because I don't want her to make a mistake before she make a commitment. But if she's already married, that's marriage. I'm not
That's
messing
a
with
contract now. That's a
I'm not
business.
messing with
It's
that.
different.
I'm not.
Okay.
No, I think
Tell me, though.
We
Right.
agree on that one.
You want somebody to tell you.
Because I can handle
Tell
it.
me.
Right,
I can handle
right. I
I've
think
been
God
in that
gave us
situation. Somebody
discernment,
told
and
me.
I think He tell me to take a picture. And Tanisha, you better take the picture, Charlene, Tamara, Jackie, all the people that's on the take a picture and send it to
Are
me.
you walking up? Are you letting them know? Or it's from a distance? Are
It
you
doesn't
zooming
matter.
in?
Oh, it doesn't
Okay,
matter.
got it.
And I have walked up.
I have walked up too.
Okay.
I have not only walked up, but I've. Oh Lord, I'm telling on myself.
Oh.
Wait, I walked up, and then I dismissed the young lady who was talking to my best friends. I was like, "Okay, you can leave now." I was like, "Bye-bye."
Got you.
Okay,
Wow.
so anyway, so let's go to the chat line real quick.
Okay, real
because,
quick.
Oh my goodness, they are having a ball
Right.
on this chat
It's
line.
tricky, man.
Someone did say, "Do you cheat when you're happy?" And I'll get to that. Back
Oh,
to
yeah,
that
the
question.
reasons for
Somebody
cheating,
did.
yeah.
Got you.
Times, yeah. So tries to hit you. Let me see. Oh, do you tell your friend if your husband try to hit on you or your
that's a
significant
different-
other try to hit on you?
That's
Not that
tricky,
you've seen
too.
them with someone else, but
they-
they've tried to hit on you. So
Oh.
that's
It's-
very tricky.
That's
That's a good
tricky,
question.
yeah.
It's
That's a good
always,
question.
and not to
Yeah, that's
slow you down,
tricky.
it's always hard because also it creates, like say if y'all hang out as a couples and then you tell your boy that his girl is cheating. Now she's not going to want to be around you. So it messes up the
Right.
dynamic of the
Yeah.
relationship. So now you're having events, they're
That's
not coming
true.
because he
That's
has to
tricky.
stick with his girl or he has to stick with his wife because they're one. So now it's like, can we even be friends anymore?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's good.
That's tricky.
Yeah.
So do you cheat when you're happy? Do you cheat
I
when
think
you're
you
happy?
can.
Yeah, I think people do.
I've cheated while I was happy just for having lack of discipline.
I was about to say.
Just having like, just being, because sometimes cheating, you got to work for it and then sometimes it just falls in your lap. And then it's like, okay, I didn't even have to work for this. This shot, it came to me and like thinking. I'm just saying, and just being young and just being young, like, well, this came to me. This is like a gift.
So you
I gotta unwrap it.
Wow.
No, and that's the thing is, it's not an excuse. You can always say no. Cheating is never the answer. It's always an option. But when you're young and you're just thinking like,
when you're young,
you thinking with your,
No, not even when you're young. I think it's a married.
That's true.
It's an option.
But I mean, even more so when you're young.
Yeah.
Just young and dumb.
Because sometimes you just can't put yourself in a sticky situation. If you got a friend and he said, hey, look, man, I got a friend. I just met her. She had a friend. I just need you to come run interference. You thinking like, all right, cool. Nothing's going to happen. This and that until she says, hey, well, what you trying to do? And you be like, oh, I'm just here to, as a favor. Right. And then it's right there. Then what do you do?
So interestingly enough, now I will go to the research on this. So most research says that the primary reason, most of the time, sex is not the primary reason that people cheat. They cite it as, it's interesting. So listen to this, guys. So what they say is a lot of times people will cheat because that person, the cheater, sometimes have a self-esteem problem and they're seeking validation.
That's it.
Yeah. So in that relationship, they don't really feel complete. And so a lot of times, and this happened a lot of times, and I even learned this in my counseling classes, that when people go and they start sleeping with this person and sleeping with that person, it really has a lot to do with their own self-worth.
That's it.
And so a lot of times people will go out and they would basically cheat because they're seeking validation.
There you go. And that's one of the things I had listed on some of the reasons that people cheat, and that's because they don't feel appreciated or loved from their partner. And then I think we had discussed earlier before too that some people do it, maybe that was somebody else, but some people do it for revenge. You cheated on me, now I'm gonna go and cheat on you.
Oh yeah.
So
That's the worst type of cheating.
Yeah.
Because you're allowing that person to have power over you. You're turning. You're not even. You're coming out of yourself like that's not even you.
Your character, exactly. But I guess they think if they do it, then it'll make them feel better. Like like a tit for tat. Like you did it, I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
I realized that I had low self-esteem like a couple of years ago. I never thought that like I was extremely attractive. And I just always, as women, when I used to talk to women, they would always say, oh, you're funny, you're personal. Not that physically that I was attractive. Right. And then also just not being comfortable with the money that I was making.
Right.
Talking to women was always a pro for me. So men are built off this false machismo bravado. If you make a lot of money and if you get a lot of women, that means you're an alpha male. Wow. So the one thing that I was good at, I focused in. So when my friends were prospering in other areas in life, I would say, well, look, I still got the most women. That was me having low self-esteem because that's the only thing that I can focus on because I can say, hey, look, I can get any woman that I want, but it wasn't. Some of these women I didn't even like. It was just like to show you like I'm always around beautiful women, this and that. And I didn't realize, like you said, it was something that was going on with me. Because when women, and this is men and women, but when women look at men, they want men that women are attracted to.
And so another issue that's kind of come up on the chat line also, and I think a couple of people mentioned this, that the flip side of when you don't tell and you find out that your friend knew,
right?
And now
now
that still ruins the relationship. Now you knew about it, but now you didn't tell me about it, and that's why I say it really depends on the individual.
It does. I think it should be established in that friendship, just like you and Sinitria have an agreement. So have an agreement. Hey, don't tell me, but I'm gonna tell you. So it could be vice versa.
Right.
My friend may want to know, I may not want to know. So it depends on.
I've told all my friends I'm not telling.
Okay.
So you already know.
Right.
I'm not telling.
Right. And we see this a lot, and I thought this was kind of sad. One of the reasons that, and we know the obvious. Sean named some. You named some, right? Some of the obvious ones.
And then one of them too is, let's say you have an ex that you're not over, and so you're easily. They can pull you back in. Let's say you've moved on and you have a spouse, but the ex-boyfriend come back and say, I miss you, I regret letting you go, and give you all that. So
I call those default relationships. A woman really likes this one guy, but he's just not getting his act together. So you move on to the next. Like, man, I can deal with this guy, this and that, but your feelings are still with this. So when you're kind of like in a tug of war. So like the guy you don't even know, like, because you're not going to tell the new guy that you're not over, him. So he doesn't even know that you're in a default relationship.
Wow.
Like the only reason you're really here is because the guy that she really wants wouldn't get his act together.
Rebound.
So
Wow, that's that rebound relationship. And then some of the other reasons that it said is just a thrilling moment. And I think we've all said it, we've seen it on the chat line as well. It's always an option. People crave variety, but you don't have to act on it. You know what I mean? We are sexual creatures. We we can see something that's appetizing to us, but you have a choice to then act on it. One of the reasons, and I thought this was strange when I read this, that one of the reasons was, when your significant other, and this is mostly in married relationships, when a person becomes ill. We've seen this recently in the news, when a person becomes ill and they can't, and one person can no longer satisfy them emotionally. We just saw that with B. Smith's husband. Is that right? Is that wrong? Now the person is incapacitated. Right. You know what I mean? And they will never be able to perform again. And it's been year after year after year. So do you go out and seek new companionship? But it happens. I'm talking about it because it's very real. It doesn't just happen with the one that we send on the news, but it happens all the time apparently. And apparently there's a high percentage of that happening. That when a person, so the marriage vows, we got to be careful of those marriage, sickness and in health, for better for worse.
That's a hard one.
But that's
because you still have needs. Like one of my closest female friends, her husband, he was shot, unfortunately, and then he's paralyzed, so he can no longer.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she's pretty young, so she's you're asking her not to have sex for the rest of her life.
I mean, it's tricky. It's one of those things. Should you do it? Should you not do it? You know.
And then you look cruddy if you divorce the person because they can't do it.
Right.
I mean, so
Something
you sort
to
of
talk about before you get married? I don't know.
Well, I guess no one really.
No one thinks on that.
Get paralyzed.
No.
We should be having more conversations.
Well, that's true. That's a good conversation I had before.
Right. So one of the things that Diamond said to me is, Mommy, you're going to get cheated on. Everybody's going to get cheated on.
God, I did not say.
Okay, what'd you say?
What you say then?
I said that today and said, you're going to get cheated on. I love my stepfather. I did not say that.
Okay, I think that may be our caller, Brian, calling them from Beyond Affairs Network. So can we take his, we're going to hold for 1 second because I do want to get to this because time is going to run out so fast.
Right.
So can we get to Brian on the phone? I believe this probably is Brian. Brian, is that you?
It sure is.
We have him on?
No, we can't hear him.
Nope. Because I want to get to some of these things on how we heal. Because it happens. We know it happens. We know it happens to a large percentage of people. But how do we get past this? Brian, are you on the line?
I sure am.
Okay.
All right. We have Brian. He is from BeyondAffairs.com. Him and his wife, they have a huge network. And I talked about it earlier. If you tuned in earlier, I sort of gave a precursor to Brian calling in. Brian, this is a hot topic, and people are really discussing this thing on our chat line. Can you give us any insight at all, Brian, into how we can, if this happens to any one of us, how can we heal from it?
Well, certainly, fantastic. I'm just glad I'm able to be on your call today. And my wife would be here, but she is enjoying a good day off. She's worked very hard, so. One of the things, healing from an affair is certainly possible. My wife and I, we have also recovered from our own affair, the affair that I had, and we have lived longer on the other side of my affair than we prior to that. So it does take work, but it is certainly possible, and it is something that if you have a desire to do that, you can recover from it. So I've been sort of watching the what's been going on with your guests, and I agree with both of them on some levels. And it is an epidemic in our culture, and it is something that really, I think, as adults, we need to get a hold of.
Right. So, what are some of the steps? And I know that your organization, you do have some support groups, even in the Washington, D.C. area. And I will put your your website up later on so they can go to your support group just in case anyone is dealing with this. We always want to give them an avenue if they are dealing with this right now. But what is just give us like maybe a couple of the steps that they can do in terms of healing.
All right, first, I'll just say that it is not a cheating support group. It is a recovery support group.
Recovery, thank you.
Yeah, they have a couple other big websites that just recently been in news that are about the cheating ones, and that's not us. So
okay, that's not.
But anyway, yes, the steps that a person can take to recover, that kind of depends a little bit on what if they're going to try to recover together or they're going to recover by themselves. So those things make a little bit of a difference, because if it's together, it's going to require at least both people having a willingness to be open to look at that, to figure out what they need to do. But both of the recoveries, it just requires getting some good help around that. I mean, there's a lot of things that have been propagated by well-meaning and well-intentioned people, but it doesn't work because they have never experienced that, and there's so many of the things of recovery that are counterintuitive. Things that you think that you should do, those are often things you shouldn't, and very, very much like the things that you don't think one should do, those are often things that they should do. So getting good help from people that have walked through it is helpful. Finding some resources online or in person can be very helpful. If you've been a betrayed spouse, attending one of the band support groups that we have on our website is critical, because you get to be around other people that have been betrayed, and it doesn't make you feel so alone and isolated, and feeling like this is the only thing, you're the only one that's ever happened to. Part of recovery is about getting yourself educated around this, understanding that, and as you've already shared on your program, there is a vast majority of people that have there's been unfaithfulness going on, which is a bit sad, but there is help available and recovery is available, and it's not just sort of starting over again when that's happened to you.
Okay. Well, Brian, we're going to end it here. We thank you so much for calling in, and I'm definitely going to put your information out there for our viewers, because I just wanted to let them know, and I think you touched on some key points, that there are others who have gone through this, and so you're not alone if you're going through this. If you've gone through this and you need assistance, there is help for you. There are other people sometimes the best help is like support groups and support networks. Right. So it's very important. I just wanted the listeners to know, because even when I've gone through it, when Sean has gone, I don't think we even knew that this existed. So we do thank you very much, Brian, for just calling in and sharing with us very quickly. We appreciate you, and we're going to put your information out there for our viewers.
All right. Well, fantastic. It's my pleasure to be with you today, and we just want to encourage everyone to realize that betrayal is something that can be overcome, and it's something that can be prevented if a person understands what they need to do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. He ended on a good note, guys, because that was one of my questions. Can an affair or cheating, can it be prevented?
Yes. I always feel like being proactive is better than being reactive, because you got to put yourself in that situation where you have to go against, because it could be an uphill battle, because the question is like, I'm going to go hard for this person to get them back, but like, then you say, well, how long am I going hard for? Is she just dragging me through the ringer, or I can't decide what's your your timetable to get over it. Then you already have resentment to me, and then you're like, so basically, should I cut ties? Is this something that I wanted to work? Well, maybe it's not just meant to work out.
Is it worth trying to work out? Right. And I don't know. Then it takes a long time to win that trust back.
Yeah. But I would say to me, and I'll pose this to you as well, Diamond. We talked about this one day. If you're the person who's gotten cheated on, I don't think sometimes there's a way that you can prevent that. Because if a person just have it in their heart, and they purpose it in their heart that they're cheaters, and they're going to just go and just do what they're going to do. Because I want to really make this point, because as women, a lot of times, and I can't speak for the man, that we internalize everything. As soon as that person that cheats on us, we begin to look inside. What's wrong with me? Does that person look better than me? I mean, I wonder what I'm doing wrong. And we start doing so much self-analysis, and then self-analysis equal paralysis. Then we become kind of paralyzed, and now we can't look at our own self in the mirror. Now our self-esteem has dropped in such a way. So when I say, can it be prevented? Yes, it is a choice from the other side, but can it be prevented? I just want ladies or whoever's being cheated on sometimes to know that sometimes it's just not your fault.
And it's not about you. Right.
It's never your fault.
And I also just want to say that I think we were talking about this, and I was just saying that, because I was saying that I do internalize, like when I get cheated on, I do internalize. I'm like, what did I do wrong? But only because for me, I have never cheated on anybody, because I am a firm believer that once you get to that point, it's easy to have a conversation with somebody and be like, this is what you need to do, or I'm leaving, or whatever the case may be. For me, I'm just speaking for me. I'm a straight shooter. I talk my stuff out, and that's just it. So when I like have gotten cheated on, it's always like I felt like, why could we just not have that conversation if you wanted to be single, or if you wanted to do this? And so once that happens, I feel like, wow, maybe I was not communicating enough with him to understand what it was that was, making him do whatever he wanted to do. I'm a big believer in communication can fix a lot of things. So when that happens, I'm just always like, wow, maybe I was not paying him enough attention to know what it was that was, causing him to do that. That's why I say that.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Right.
And Arlene made some key points real quick on our chat line. She said recovery, being willing to forgive, admitting your mistakes, accepting help, and believe your relationship is worth saving.
Right.
Be willing to do the work to stay together. We have to realize we can only control our actions, which is true. We can't control others, and never allow someone else's actions to determine your value.
Absolutely.
That is key. I wanted to get that.
Right.
That was excellent.
That was excellent, and I had to say that out loud. But there are some, because we only got 5 minutes.
I know. So real quick. So on a spiritual side, we look at it the practical, but on a spiritual aspect, in terms of my testimony from when I first got married, and I was super young, but God revealed something to me years later after I got saved and some years thereafter. But we know that the enemy hates family. He hates the family structure. So I recall when right before I got married, I asked my fiance at the time, and I was probably like 20 years old, and I always had a desire. I didn't go to church. I wasn't a church-going person, but I knew about God. I knew that I wanted a relationship with God. So I asked him before we got married. I was like, listen, and his father was the assistant pastor, and we knew we would have gone to his church. And I was like, let's go to church when we get married, because I knew we were shacking, and I knew, I wanted to be legit. I wanted to be all in. So I'm like, let's go to church after we get married. And he was like, okay, we can start going to church after we get married. So, okay, fast forward, we get married, 2 or 3 weeks go by, and I'm like, okay, it's Sunday, let's go to church. And he was like, nah, you go. And I didn't want to go by myself, because I wanted to go as a family structure, my husband leading the family, me and my son. I wanted to go together. I didn't want to be sitting in church by myself. So I didn't know the Lord personally, had my own personal relationship. So fast forward to about 6-7 months in, I started hanging out with my girls, my cousins, and we started going to cabarets and started going to clubs, and then I started getting attention from other men. Now keep in mind, I'm like 21 at the time, 22. So I started creeping, right? And then soon thereafter, we separated a year in after being married. So God showed me years later that at that point, when my husband, who was supposed to be the leader of this family, when he said, no, you go by yourself, and he did not keep his word and being a leader and leading us into church, I believe that was the door that was open for the enemy to come in. And I believe we went downhill from there. Even though we got back together a year later, again, it went downhill because he did not lead like he promised he would. So I just wanted to throw that in there for somebody who, a Christian couple that's maybe going through. Where did that door open? Where was that door left open for the enemy to creep in?
All right. So I want to give real quick. We only got about 3 minutes. I cannot believe this episode. Okay.
Did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
Oh no. I mean, I was not. He didn't make you feel secure, like
right.
Right.
If
he would have went to church with you, we might not even be having,
There you go.
this
Right.
talk. So
Exactly.
you have to, when you're,
Right.
what I've learned is, and I know we got 3 minutes, when your woman speaks, you got to listen. And not only you have to listen, you have to comprehend. And then once you comprehend, you have to put it into action. The reason she's talking to you is for a reason.
Absolutely.
You're supposed to be her best friend. It might be a cry for help. You got to answer it.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some signs real quick. We got about 2 minutes,
yeah.
guys. We got some signs of cheating.
Because I can disagree with that.
Everybody say true or false. We're going to throw them out
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Here's some true or false.
Okay.
You got to watch this. Improved appearance.
True.
They start making sudden changes
that is true.
to their
Yeah.
appearance. They start looking
I've
better,
heard-
smelling
yeah,
better.
true. Uh-huh.
That's a sign of
Yeah, that's a
cheating.
sign.
And and let me just do a disclaimer real quick. Just because these signs are happening, it doesn't mean that that person is cheating.
Right,
It doesn't
right.
mean that.
Right.
I'm going to throw that disclaimer
Gotcha.
out. And then also, secretive phone and computer use. If you got to take your phone everywhere in the bathroom, you got to sleep with it under the bed,
True.
you changing all your passcodes, that
True.
could be possibly a sign. It could be possibly be a sign.
99.9.
From the man. From the
There are
man.
periods where your significant other is unreachable. He in a dead zone. They're in a dead zone.
No such thing.
Sorry, fellas. True. I'm just giving all.
Thank you. All right. Significantly less or different sex. That could be either here or there. Sometimes.
50-50.
Less
That's
sex.
50-50 because sometimes the workload, you're busy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just, tired. I won't necessarily say that one.
A lot of times, and here's another one, a lot of times your partner becomes hostile towards you. They try to pick arguments, pick fights.
Oh,
so that you can push
yeah.
them out the door
Oh.
so they can go out of the
Find a
way.
reason to leave the house.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh, exactly. Oh, I have. Yeah, I've gone through that. Yeah, mine used to make up everything. Yeah.
An altered schedule. Your schedule start changing a little bit. I'm telling you right now, my husband's schedule. I'm like, well,
You doing what?
You change
On
your
a Tuesday? You don't be doing that on Tuesday.
a whole new shirt on, sir. Yeah, shirt on. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So your friends seem uncomfortable around you sometimes. So sometimes the person friend, they would be uncomfortable around you because the person who's cheated on is always the last person to know. You're the last person to know. So everybody else knows around you. So now his friends become a little uncomfortable around you. Yeah. You're the last person to
Your
know.
friend might
I don't know. Your
my
friends
friend
probably.
might want my boyfriend, so I don't know if I would take that.
Oh, okay.
Guys,
Okay.
if your guy friend is a cheater, he's not going to feel uncomfortable because he probably been doing this. You used to it.
Right, I'm going to say they'll probably be able to play that off now.
They play it over easy.
Women,
What's up, sis?
maybe.
What's up, sis?
Right.
Our engineer's over there.
Because he resonate. He knows.
He knows.
It's gospel over here.
Engineer, we're going to get the music on you.
right.
And we're going to come right back in a few moments, guys, with our victory reports. I don't know where the time is gone. But
Right.
this is another discussion for us, guys. And,
We just want to thank our guests for coming on, Diamond and
love
Sean.
them. We love
Thank you.
them. We
I appreciate it,
love
man.
them.
I'm honored to be on.
Thank you all so much.
All right.
We love you so much. Hang on with us, guys. We got 1 minute for our victory review points. So hang on.
I don't know where my little bubble thing is on my microphone, but
That was good, guys. Excellent. Thank you.
Sit right here. You all come
Oh, yeah, y'all stay over here.
we
and we're
stay
going to
over
come up. We're going to see
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I want a donut.
That was an hour. That went fast.
So fast. It always does.
Our conversation is fluid, though. You know.
I want some donuts.
You want to switch up?
It doesn't matter.
You got some? You don't have a car?
Oh, I did.
Oh, you want to move my phone out the way?
Just play the Chattitudes one. If you don't have Chuck.
What happened? You want your water?
No, I was just saying I don't know if it was in y'all way. I don't know what the camera can see.
Okay. All right, it's cool.
You want one of these donuts?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
wait a minute. Where's our, I'm using this one up here saying. The camera not facing us. Up there, is that facing us?
Oh, are these a fair recovery people? The fair recovery, that's what they think say.
Hey, Chuck. Talk to me, Pastor Mitchell. I don't know about you, but I've had all kinds of friends in my life. I think I've been right down that road with
Oh, yeah.
So-called friends, yes. When trouble came, they went the other way. Tell me about it. But one thing I'm glad about, that ain't a friend like the lonely Jesus.
Now I'm gonna have to go back and tell people I did not say you was gonna get cheated on, because they're gonna think I said that Andre was gonna cheat on you. I did not say that.
You be like Jesus.
I did not. I said once in your lifetime. You've already had yours in your lifetime.
You be like Jesus. He's my friend. Jesus healed my body. Well, he told me to run on. Jesus is my friend.
Hello, welcome back. So we're having our victory viewpoints. And so I just wanted to note that we know that infidelity is devastating. It affects all parties involved, directly or indirectly, when it comes to the children too. And I know we didn't speak on that aspect. But we serve a loving and forgiving God. The partner who is violated in an affair has every right to be upset and hurt and angry. Their trust has been violated and the marital vows are broken. We mostly think of how the spouse who has been violated, how they need healing, and they do. But the violator also needs healing as well. They need forgiveness. So I'm reminded of two generals in the faith, one in the Bible and one in today's time. So we think about David. He was a man after God's own heart, and yet he still committed adultery, and God restored him. And I think about today, Dr. Jamal Bryant. We know that he cheated on his wife, but look at how God restored him. Both men repented, and God restored. So there is hope. There is healing. I think about Psalm 51:4 in terms of the violator. The word says, against thee only have I sinned and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest and be clear when thou justest.
Yes. I would just let you know that adultery, affairs, single, married, when you're embracing that false love, it hurts everyone involved.
Amen.
The Bible simply says this: you should not, thou shalt not commit adultery. Stay tuned next week. We want you to join us next week because I tell you this, we have an executive chef coming from a fabulous restaurant. He's going to come and he's going to give us some cooking tips. Not only is he coming, but anybody who knows Big Mama Lou, which is my mama, she's going to come as well. So he's going to talk about healthy tips. She's going to give the Southern cooking recipes. So you want to be with us next week. I'm telling you, don't want to miss it. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you. God loves you. And tune in next week. We're going to keep bringing you platforms. We're going to keep bringing you subject matter experts. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again next week.
Have a good evening.
Come on and join us. We're gonna have a good time. Listen up, check us out. Use the hotline number to chime. Come on and join us. There's lots of surprise for you. Fun and family with great fellowship too. Crystal and Sean have exciting words. I'm sure there's something that you've never heard. Sunday at 6, it's an excellent mix. We got spiritual flair, special guests will be there. Come on and join us. We're here and waiting for you. Connect with us at 6 o'clock. We want to share in all you do. Come on and join us. Come right here and find. Connect with us and share your thoughts. We want to explore your mind. Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude?
Chattitudes, Chattitudes.
What's your attitude? Listen.